Or, after assumption, would you say my client's property is worth less?
Yes, that's definitely worth less after the assumption.
So therefore my client has a right to claim for injurious affection.
Yes.
My client has also claimed for a loss of interest. Do you believe this is viable?
Yes, the claimant's already incurred the cost of the legal and valuation fees. So interest must be awarded in accordance with sections 52 and 53 of the Land Acquisition and Compensation Act 1986. The legal fees were paid on the 1st of March. They incurred the nominal 10% simple interest for 2 months, so approximately $450.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, Mr. Lawson. No further questions?
Thank you. Mr. Walter, if you would just stay with us for a moment there and stand by us. At this stage, I'd like to call on Council for the Inquiring Authority. Mr. Lynch, I believe, today is representing the Inquiring Authority. Thank you once again for appearing before Mr. Lynch. Last time was most enjoyable. Once again, I'd like to say, in relation to proceedings here, Mr. Lawford, are we still with us?
Yep.
Thank you. And I'd like to say that you now have 10 minutes to cross-examine. Please proceed, Mr. Lynch.
10 minutes seems like a lot of time, really, considering that the case is quite simple and flawed. Mr. Lawford, thank you very much for your time today. I know that at the end of the semester it's a very busy time, so I appreciate you volunteering your time for this case, especially with the amount of work and any cricket cases, any cricket games that are going on around the university at the moment.
Relevance?
Now, you say you use Spencer v. Commonwealth in your definition of market value. Are you aware that there was, from the agreed facts of the case, that there was contamination that applies to the land as a whole?
Yep. And then I'm aware of the contamination.
Okay. Do you know the estimated cost of cleanup of contamination by any chance?
I believe it was $100,000 for the whole site.
100,000. Okay. Do you know if any of this contamination affected the land it's going to be wired?
Well, I understand that the contamination affected the whole site.
Okay. So would, from the agreed facts, 10%, which has been stated affects the land to be acquired, would that be adequate? You believe that's a fair assessment?
What's the question exactly?
Do you believe that the 10% of the contamination which affects the land, which has actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. The contamination, $100,000, 10% of this contamination affects the land that is to be acquired.
Yep.
Do you find that 10% reasonable?
Well, it's 10% of the total area of the land being resumed, so it would make 10% of the land contaminated.
Okay. Now, 10% of the land to be acquired. Let me just do some simple maths in my head here. $100,000 to clean up. 10% of that is roughly $10,000. So does that mean that it might cost $10,000, or it should cost $10,000 to clean up the land that is to be acquired?
Well, in theory, I suppose it would. I'm not sure if you could just clean up the strip, or if you'd have to decontaminate the whole site. So if in theory, if you could just decontaminate that strip, it would probably cost $10,000.
Okay. So saying that, wouldn't that reduce the land value by, say, $10,000 if that was the case? It cost $10,000 to clean up. Would that reduce the, just a second, would that reduce the market value of the land?
Well, it could.
Okay, thank you. So that means that $75,000 for a market value of 1,000 square metres would actually be somewhere in the vicinity of $65,000.
Yeah, the agreed value, in the agreed facts, it says that the land is valued at $75. So maybe that contamination issue is already inherent in the $75 per square metre. It's been valued at, and agreed as valued at.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you, it's just a moment. I just want to say, Mr. Lawford, remember you should direct your answers to the members here.
So that means you're assuming that this might be inherent in the market value of the land. Is that right?
Well, yeah, someone's done a valuation, they're valued at $75, and if they did a valuation
Excuse
correctly...
me, I restate the question. You assuming that this $10,000 in clean-up is inherent in the market value of the
Yes,
price?
that's what we've assumed.
Okay, so
Any further questions, Mr. Lynn?
yes, I do. Now, you've used green, I believe, as one of your cases. Is that right?
Green versus Commonwealth, or... No, still looking at it,
No,
Must be
green
Shire
versus...
Council versus
That's
Green,
right,
yeah.
that's Shire Council. Now, Mr. Lawford, you say that a before and after value was used due to this case law. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so with, let me just get this right. In juris affection, there was a before and after approach used for in juris affection.
To determine the claimable compensation, is that what you're asking?
I was asking, yeah, was there a before and after method used in claiming the juris affection?
That's how it was determined. I didn't do it myself, but that's how the juris affection figure was worked out, is by before and after method.
Okay. Would you be able to inform the court who did calculate this?
I believe it was Corey Zeidler.
Will he be an expert witness to that?
You'll have to ask the council.
I might just ask Mr. Ellis, will you be
Yes,
calling
we'll be
the-
attending as Mr. Evans today.
Well, I direct those questions to Mr. Zeidler, to extend.
No further questions.
Mr. Ellis, would you like to... I beg your pardon.
Mr. Lawford, in your before and after evaluations, do you assume that it would be obligatory or not obligatory to clean up contamination?
We assume that the acquiring authority would clean up contamination.
And on the balance of the property?
I beg your pardon?
The contamination on the balance of the property that's not being acquired, did you address that issue at all?
We didn't address that issue, no.
Questions, Member Tall? No further questions for this witness? Mr. Ellis,
Thank you, Your Honour.
would you like to re-examine your witness to clarify any issues raised in cross-examination?
Your Honour, absolutely. Love to.
Please proceed.
Mr. Lawford, we'll get into contamination later, I'm quite sure, when the other accept witnesses appear, but I was just wondering, do you actually watch cricket around the university and stuff?
Not this time of year, no.
Okay, and can you tell me what 10% of 100,000 is?
$10,000.
I'd just like to point out to the courtroom that not only does the despondent and his court of the bench not understand who my expert witness is, nor can he calculate just as fast. No further questions.
You may be seated. Mr. Ellis, have you got much more excitement packed for your second witness as the first one?
Yes, I do.
You may call your second witness, please.
I'd like to call Mr. Corey Zeidler for the stand, please.